Welcome to This Week in Tiger Athletics. I'm your host, Haley White, and sitting with me now is FHSU women's head soccer coach Blake Reynolds. FHSU beat Missouri Western 2-1 on Friday. Mo West had given previous number 1 and defending champ Central Missouri its first loss earlier this year. They beat Northwest Missouri State 3-0 on Sunday here in Hayes, and the Tigers have won three in a row and allowed only 1 goal in that stretch. And before we get started, I have heard that it is your birthday, so happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Congrats on a successful weekend. It seems the team is hitting its stride now with the three straight wins.
Yeah, it was our first weekend where we won both, which is obviously the goal when you start things out. So to get 2 big wins this weekend at home was just big for our confidence. I think the team, that's the biggest thing I could say, is the confidence level has risen a lot. We've gotten back everybody we can get back this year, and we're as healthy as we can be, and now we're just trying to see what we can do.
And how much of this season so far has been just finding a way to persevere after several tough matches?
Yeah, that was definitely the early part of the season. Losing all 4 starting defenders the first 2.5 games of the season is not something you ever plan on. But we got Shayla Podlina back, and then after 6 games we got Maya Persa back, and so we kind of got half of the starting defense back, and that's just given the rest of the team confidence. And now I don't have to move as many people around to plug holes, and so people are where they're supposed to be, and now it's seeing if we can win some games.
And now the team has won consecutive games for the first time this year, heading into a road game with number 17 Central Missouri this coming Friday. How important was it to get on a roll before a stretch of 5 straight road games?
Yeah, you just said it. So we had the last 4 at home, went 3-1 with our only loss being to UCO, who looks like they're going to win the conference this season. But beating Northeastern, Missouri Western, and Northwest Missouri, 3 nice wins at home, and which we needed. Now heading on the road for 5 straight conference games, and then only 1 at home, and the season's over. So that was a big stretch for us to kind of work our way up the standings. After 2 conference games, we were in last place because we hadn't won, and now we're tied for 4th. So it's good momentum.
And then against Missouri Western, you were able to grab an early lead with a goal by Kaylee Perkins before halftime, and then added a Zariah Smith goal to make it 2-0. How big was that win for your club?
That was a great day. Getting on the board early was really important. That's a great Missouri Western team. Obviously finished 2nd in the conference last year and went to the national tournament. And we played an outstanding game. That was probably our best game of the season to date, was that game. But getting that early goal is huge for confidence. At halftime, I'm talking to my assistant coach, Jacob Dunnett, and I'm like, I don't think 1's going to be enough. Even though we're playing well, this team has too much firepower. And that late goal by Zariah Smith is what we call a banger. I mean, she hit it from 25, 30 yards out off the post, just a great shot. And sure enough, 13 seconds left, they sneak in a late goal. And as a coach, that's very distasteful. It kind of spoils the mood a little bit, but I didn't want it to take away from the overall performance. I mean, I thought we were fantastic for that game, and that was really impressive.
And then on Sunday, it would have been easy for you guys to lay down a bit with the weather conditions, but you were able to dominate Northwest Missouri with 3 goals in the second half.
Yeah, it was a wild day, terrible weather here the whole weekend pretty much. Games got delayed by a couple of hours, so our kickoff time was pushed back 2 or 2.5 hours, but the ladies stayed focused. Again, 0-0 at halftime. I thought that we started the game off really well, and then I thought they took over for the end of the first half. I thought that we weren't very tough in the end of the first half. So we didn't talk about tactics, we didn't talk about strategy, we just talked about being tough again. And that's what the conditions kind of asked for. It's raining hard, and it's wet turf, and it's hard to play attractive soccer sometimes when the conditions are like that. Then the second half, come out and find 3 goals against a team that's 1-10, but is really good. There's no bad teams in this conference. There's no teams you walk in and you're like, we're going to win 4-0 today. I'm going to get everybody in off the bench. Like even Southwest Baptist and Northwest Missouri, who have not very good records, are competing to the last minute of every game. So it was just, I was more relieved than anything to get out of there with that victory.
And then Macy Decker came up big for you guys on Sunday, tallying 2 goals in the win. Her first goal on her Tiger career. How has she improved this year for you?
Yeah, so Macy's just a footballer. She's just a player. She's not big. She's not athletic. She just has great instincts, and she battles hard all the time. So I'm having Macy play a different position than she played in high school. Our midfield depth is challenged because of our injuries to the back line, so I had to move Alex Polignano back. We lost freshman Carly Potts for a significant amount of time. She's still out with injuries, so Macy's playing in the midfield when she's probably more normally a forward. But she just says, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. And what a game for her yesterday, exciting. Her grandparents were in town watching the game along with their parents, so they got to see her first collegiate goals. And it's just a case of Macy saying, this is what I think is going to happen, and I'm going to get into a good spot. And a lot of players won't make the runs that she made to finish both off crosses because they're like, I don't know if I'm going to get this ball. Do I really want to run? Macy's like, yeah, I'm going to go do it because it might come. And 2 great finishes. It was awesome.
And speaking of injuries, you guys have really been affected on the defensive side with injuries, but keeper Megan Neefel has been solid in the net. How important has she been in this 3-match winning streak?
She's been good. You know, Megan has made the saves that she's supposed to make during this streak. I think it's important to highlight freshman Maya Persa. When she came back, when we lost her, but also when she came back, she is just the physical backbone of this team. And losing her as a freshman, she's just strong. She's athletic. She makes plays. She's a natural leader as a freshman. She has alleviated a lot of the things that Megan sees. So, you know, Megan made some good saves, but she didn't have to make anything outstanding, and she just had to make the plays we needed her to make. And I'll tell you what, she's excited to have a defense in front of her that makes her job a little bit easier too. So, but Megan's playing great. So she had a little rough patch early on in the season, but she's rebounded from that, and she's playing great right now, which is nice to have.
And she's allowing about 1.5 goals a game, but has 2 shutouts in the last 3 games. Keeper is not an easy position to play, especially with a banged up defense that's in front of her. What's been key for her success lately?
Well, I think it's just the overall gelling of the back line, getting some of the players back, and then Megan getting that confidence. The first shutout that she had against Northeastern State, you know, you kind of build on that, and should have had one against Missouri Western, if not for 15 seconds, and then again Northwest Missouri. So we could be looking at 3 straight shutouts, 3 really solid performances from the defense. So, you know, we don't just look at the goalkeeper, we don't just look at the defense, we look at them all together, and really the entire team on how they defend. So.
And offensively, you've got several weapons on your team with at least 2, and 4 players with at least 2 goals each this year. How has that made it tough for defensives to key on just one player on your team?
Yeah, we don't, you know, it's a luxury if you have somebody that can score 15 to 20 goals in a season, and we don't have that player right now. But we do have, which is different than last year, we have a handful, more than a handful of players who can score. And that's what really challenged us last year. We had a defense that was outstanding last year, a midfield that was fantastic, but we didn't have enough weapons last year in the offense, and that we just ran out of steam. This year we've given up some more goals. You know, some of the injuries are part of that, but we're scoring more. We're on a pace to break last year's scoring amount by a lot, and that's the difference. You have to be able to score in big games, and we can do that this year. There's no one person you can key on because all of the ladies in the attack can play and score, and I think we already have more players that have scored this year than did last year. And we still have 6 games left plus playoffs, hopefully. So it just goes to show I got a full recruiting class in here, got some ladies who can really play in the attack, and it's fun to watch because they score in a variety of different ways.
And the team is now sitting at 500 for the season, entering the home stretch. What will be the key for the rest of the season against some really tough opponents?
Sure. The conference is just a logjam. So you've got UCO at the top, who's undefeated. But after that, there's 8 teams who look like they're competing for 7 spots in the playoffs, and we're one of those teams sitting tied for 4th right now. But you know, if you go 0-2 in a weekend, you can drop from 4th place to 9th place and out. So consistency is going to be important. Our ability to play on the road is going to be important because you're not playing on your familiar home field. You're at different venues, and those teams get to sleep in their own beds and things like that. So it's going to be important that we're mentally tough over the next 2.5 weeks because we can't afford to give up games on the road. We're going to have to keep winning if we want to first make the playoffs and then find better positioning to maybe hopefully host a playoff game.
Well, thanks for joining me, Coach, and good luck to you and your team the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
When we return, we will track down the men's soccer success this weekend.
I think there's a perception out there that web and mobile application development is this field where you sit behind a computer all day and code. And that's not it at all, right? And there's even a perception out there that geek is bad. But I think students should embrace their inner geek. We don't code all day. We look at issues, we look at problems, and try to figure out the pieces of the puzzle and how to put them together to build things.
I was able to learn JavaScript, HTML, CSS, PHP, just kind of the whole 9 yards with that. So I really enjoyed the full program that they offered here.
Anything that you're interested in, the field of web and mobile application development, there's a value to. There's nothing like what we have in the informatics department. If you choose to take everything in the buffet that we offer, you'll be very well prepared for any type of job opportunity that's out there.
Welcome to This Week in Tiger Athletics. Joining me now is Brett Parker, men's soccer coach. FHSU beat Upper Iowa on Thursday 3-0. They beat Lindenwood 2-1 on Sunday, and they play 2 games at home this weekend against Southwest Baptist and Northeastern State. The team is 9-2-1 overall and 4-0 in the MIAA. Congratulations on 2 more wins last week. The team is on a roll right now and looking stronger than ever. How important is it to keep going entering the final stretch of the season?
Yeah, you know, we've had a good run the last few weeks. I think 3 weeks in a row unbeaten. So confidence is high, but we know this time of year the games are more difficult. Teams, you know, that you're playing against are desperate for wins. You know, championships are on the line, so it's important that we continue to keep the streak going.
On Thursday against Upper Iowa, you got 3 goals from 3 different players. A lot of teams are starting to try to adjust to playing against Santiago Agudelo, but that's going to leave other solid players open as well for you guys.
Yeah, we have a ton of good attacking players. You know, I mean, for the most part this season, Santiago's done a bulk of the scoring, but we do have guys capable. And I think as the season progresses and you know, teams have scouting reports on them, which they have in recent weeks, it's going to continue to open up stuff for other players.
On Sunday against Lindenwood, Agudelo got the game's first goal off an assist from Moritz Walther, and Rogiello Lopez added the eventual game winner to beat the Lions. How big of a win was it in not so great conditions?
Yeah, everything about Sunday was ugly. I mean, we didn't play our best game. It's probably the worst we've played in the past few weeks. You know, due to the opponent won. Lindenwood is a strong team, and they played really, really well against us. And the conditions, you know, moving the time back a couple hours, a lot was going against us. So to be able to play for the first time, win, and when we don't play our best was important to show our team that it doesn't always have to be our best game to go out and get a result.
And you guys have won 6 in a row now and given up only 4 goals while scoring 28. How dominating have you guys been in the stretch?
Yeah, I think, you know, 5 of those 6, and up until Sunday, we were very dominant. You know, really both sides of the game. I mean, not giving up shots and creating plenty of opportunities throughout the match, especially Thursday. I think Thursday was maybe one of our most dominating performances. I think we held them without a shot on goal the entire game and had, I don't know, 15, 16 ourselves, somewhere around there. So, those kind of games you always want as a coach. You always want to be able to control both sides of the game and have the majority of the play in the other half and be creating chances and limiting your opponent. But then again, on Sunday against Lindenwood, it was different. They had probably more of the possession than we did. Had some decent opportunities in our area, but we held strong. Showed good character as a team. Showed that we can win in situations like that. And I think that's when you get into the NCAA tournament and you're starting to play late season games where the weather's not as good and the opponents are strong. Those are the kind of games you have to show as a team that you can win. So it's exciting to see as a team. Obviously, we want to avoid those types of games as much as possible, but we now know that we can win in a variety of ways.
And this winning streak has you guys 4-0 in MIAA play entering the weekend. If you guys are able to come out with 2 more wins this weekend, it could wrap up the conference. Yeah,
that was our goal going into this 4-game stretch, was to give ourselves an opportunity to win the conference at home. So we got the help we needed in the first couple weeks from various results in the league, and we went on the road and won 2 games on the road, and then took care of business this last weekend at home. So yeah, it's exciting to be able to hopefully accomplish one of our major goals early in the conference season or early in the season itself. So we've set ourselves up with the opportunity, and now we hope to go out and grab it.
And how big would it be for you guys to win another conference crown?
Yeah, it's definitely one of our goals. Last year it was the first time we had done it, which was great, and you certainly, that's your first goal. You want to win your conference. That's what's in front of you. So it definitely is the one of the first major goals we have as a team. Obviously, I think based on the things we've done in the past, we have higher goals than that, but we certainly want to take care of the conference first, and hopefully we can do that this weekend.
And you start the weekend Friday night with Southwest Baptist, a team you dominated 9-0 earlier this year. How hard will it be not to look past them this weekend leading into your matchup?
Yeah, that's a challenge. And I think anytime you play a team twice when you've had success, it's difficult the second time to make sure you're focused. But I think we'll be okay. I think we have good leadership. We have a senior, good core of seniors, a lot of older players within our squad that know the importance of each and every game out. And we were able to do that this weekend as well, knowing that next weekend we could be playing for something special. So it definitely, like I said, it'll be a challenge, but I think it's one we'll be up for.
And then Northeastern State is ranked number 17 and has won 3 in a row, and sits at 9-1-1 overall right now. Its only loss coming up to you guys earlier this year. Another win against them could wrap the MIAA title, like we said, with just 2 conference matches left.
Yeah, I mean, they've traditionally been probably our biggest rival since the program started. So they're always, regardless of the last game we played against them, which we played very, very well and won pretty comfortably, we know it's going to be a battle. No 2 games within a season are typically the same, so we know going out it's going to be a much different game. We know we'll get their best shot, and they're a very, very good team. Obviously, they only have the 1 loss on the season, so hopefully we can take care of business on Friday and set ourselves up for a big game Sunday.
And you were able to get the best of Northeastern State a few weeks ago with the 4-1 win on its home field. What will be key when the 2 teams square off again?
Yeah, I mean, really it'll be just adjusting to how the game goes. And like I said, we talk a lot about when we play teams twice that no 2 games are ever the same, and have a million examples throughout the years when we've played teams twice. So it's going to be about making sure that we know that we have to be the better team on the day and have to execute and go out and play the level we're capable of and do the things that we want to do. And it's 2 teams that will know each other very, very well. There'll be very few secrets between the 2. So it's just about on the day going out and winning the individual battles and sticking together as a team and executing. And
Santiago Agudelo has been so special for you guys this year. What do you think it is about him that makes him so difficult to defend?
He's really, at our level, he's just a rare blend of size, speed, and skill. You get a lot of big players, a lot of fast players, a lot of skilled players, but to have all 3 of those, it's a rare quality. And even when he has 2-3 guys on him, it really doesn't stop him from doing what he wants to do. And he just allows us to play, such a certain way by making sure that if we need to get out and relieve pressure, he's going to hold the ball up and let us get out. And then obviously the goals he scores, he's just physically, just a lot of times just gets the better of his opponent.
And he has 14 goals and 5 assists in 11 matches right now. Have you ever coached a player like him that can strike just from about anywhere?
We have had some very, very good strikers here at Fort Hays, starting with the first couple years of the program. With Ricardo Yeverino, who was, I think Santiago's creeping up on his single season goal scoring record of 15. But we've always that's probably the most important position in soccer. So we always try to make sure we have somebody that can score goals and can be a threat up there. So we have had quite a few good ones here over the years. But to this point, he's showing that he's every bit as good. And if he can continue to do that, his stats will certainly speak for themselves.
And along with Santiago, you guys have other players that have the potential to be just as dangerous as Santiago has been. How has the chemistry helped you guys?
Yeah, it's something that it's been really strong this year, especially on the field. The chemistry, a lot of players, similar styles of play. A lot of guys that have played together quite a bit that complement each other. We have a really good blend and mixture of players that seem to gel pretty well together on the field. So yeah, we have. We've been able to get goals from every position pretty much this year. Even our back line is even dangerous. Our outside defenders have scored 5-6 goals between the two of them. We get goals from our center backs. Our midfielders are scoring goals. We're getting goals from the wide area. So that's one thing that makes Santiago's job easier too, is that we have other players that are capable, and there are other players that you have to account for, you have to scout when you're playing us. So they do make his job quite a bit easier.
And in the net, Fernando Pena has had solidly. He is at an 82% save percentage. Talk about his role during this winning streak and how he's been a huge part. Yeah,
we're very fortunate to get Fernando back. He had a pretty bad knee injury in preseason. Thought he was going to be lost for the season. Which was pretty devastating in our plans for the year, but he worked hard on his rehab. He's wearing a brace, and yeah, he does a lot more than just make saves for us. I mean, he's a very, very polished, accomplished goalkeeper that communicates very well, makes his job much easier by directing players around him, communicating. He's very good with the ball at his feet, so he's essentially another field player that we can pass to and know that we're going to keep possession. So, on both ends of the field, we've been lucky to have two guys that kind of really anchor us on both sides.
And the team has had a lot of success this year, but I know you're also trying to build up to the postseason and what you guys can do in the postseason. How has the schedule this year prepared you guys for that postseason play? Yeah,
I think this is the second year in a row we've really tried to load up on our non-conference schedule. I think at the time of games, I think 3 top 10 opponents. Well traveled. This was our first weekend home, our first full weekend home of the season. So. That's the ultimate goal when we set the schedules. We know even if there's a couple games that we drop along the way, we want to be well prepared to play any kind of team in any location. So nothing's a surprise to us. So hopefully it's done that. I think the last few weeks has shown that the strength of our schedule was, it paid off. There's no games that we're not prepared for, no level of opponent that really surprises us. So hopefully that continues to help us out, and we can keep it going.
And you have to believe that this team is capable of making the Final Four if things keep clicking.
Yeah, sure. I think so. A lot has to go right. We've been so close in the past. We've had teams capable in the past, and for whatever reason, we've come up a little bit short. So I know we're good enough. I think we've shown that we're good enough, and obviously the team belief's there. But to do that, everything has to go right. Everything has to go right the last few weeks of the season. We have to put ourselves in a position, and then, if we're lucky enough to have the opportunity, we have to go out and on the day be the best team out there.
Well, thanks for joining me, Coach, and good luck to you this weekend as you hopefully clinch that conference crown.
Thanks for having me.
When we return, we will break down the rest of this week in athletics.
5, 4, 3, 2, take it. The Tiger Media Network is Fort Hays State University's independent student media organization. It's a student employment opportunity where you can work for either the news side or the sports side. So you can be on live sports production, which produces all of the live sports broadcasts that we do, or you could be on the news side and do news stories covering things on campus, so presidential announcements, student government association. We bring that news to the student community and the Hays community as well.
You don't realize how much Fort Hays State has to offer until you're here.
I mean, it is definitely, this is the land of opportunity here.
I just got back from the MIAA tournament in Kansas City a couple weeks ago where we worked with other production crews including Pitt State and Central Missouri. And it's a great time. I've gone there the last couple years.
For me anyway, I get to do sports, which is what I love. And if live productions is where that's at.
This is the perfect place to do it. We have almost everything that you could possibly imagine.
Tiger Media Network allows you the opportunity to take the skills you've learned and put them forward in a real world, real application setting that allows you to flourish and grow as a professional, and that will only help you and benefit you when you graduate and go into the real world workforce.
Welcome back to This Week in Tiger Athletics. Joining me now is FHSU SID Ryan Prickett, and he's going to help me break down the rest of the week in athletics. So FHSU football falls to Emporia State 28-24 this weekend.
Yeah, that was one of those games where you feel like it slipped through our hands. Unfortunately, I mean, I was there on the sidelines, felt like right out of the gates we were going to win that ball game the way we came out, got that touchdown right away, and then we started marching right back down the field again. Looked like it was going to be 14-0 before even 7 minutes elapsed in that game, and then to fumble the ball away at the 1-yard line, and you're that close to, you know, taking a 2-score lead. Even at worst, if we get that ball back and don't fumble or whatever, don't get in the end zone, you still kick a field goal and it's 10-0 at least. So the way everything kind of turned right in that moment right there in the first quarter, where it puts a little bit of doubt in your mind, gives Emporia a little bit of confidence, and then to fumble the ball away again just moments later and give Emporia a shorter field to work with, you know, lets them gain the confidence that they're going to continue to stop you, and then also to throw an interception in the red zone, almost getting another touchdown. So to be only, you know, ahead 7-0 at the half in that game, you just felt like something, you know, could happen as far as Emporia making a comeback, because we let them hang around. And then right there out of the gates early in the second half, they hit us with that long touchdown pass. All of a sudden it's a ball game, and now you're fighting back and forth the rest of the second half. And unfortunately, the clock just was in their favor. They had the possession that, you know, you score with only a minute to go in the game, it leaves us backs up against the wall to try and get down the field fast, and we couldn't get down there fast enough. And that's a hard pill to swallow when you turn the ball over 4 times and you feel like you were the better team that day. And Emporia didn't make the mistakes, and lo and behold, that's why you lose. So a lot of things kind of similar to how they lost at Missouri Western, you know, turning the ball over in the red zone led to a lot of the reasons why we didn't come away in that game with a win. So, and unfortunately that loss knocks us out of the top 25 poll this week. So I just saw that before coming over here today. So we're receiving votes still. So, but unfortunately, that'll be the first time in a little while that we're not in the AFC top 25. So.
And they will have to turn around and have another tough competition this weekend with Pitt at home. Pitt just came off a loss also this weekend. Yeah,
and that's what is also really frustrating about that loss for us this week, is the fact that Pitt lost to Northwest Missouri State. So if we would have won that game, we would have jumped into a 3-way tie with both of them for the conference lead, and now you're still sitting a game back. But the good thing, the positive thing about looking at it and going ahead is we have to play both of those teams yet. And so if we can right the ship, and win this week against Pittsburgh State here at home. That'll knock them down to 2 losses into a tie with us if we can make that happen. And then you still have Northwest Missouri in front of you, who still has some other games to play yet, but you think that, if we can win out from here on out, beat those 2 teams, we could still win the MIAA championship. But it seems like we're taking kind of the hard road to do that right now. So, but hopefully, yes. I mean, I expect it to be an awesome atmosphere here in Hayes again this Saturday. Pittsburgh State, a nice rivalry game. And now that, for years we struggled against Pittsburgh State because they were one of the most dominant forces in Division II for a long, long time. And once we kind of got over that hump here about 4 or 5 years ago and beat them at their place, it kind of sent notice that, the Chris Brown era is in full swing, and, we've gotten better and better and better as the years have gone. So this has kind of turned into a big rivalry game now with Pittsburgh State, instead of it being a game that, we used to, a few years back, we were never really having a chance to win that game. So this will be a big week for us. Hopefully we stay in the MIAA championship hunt this week, and I guess we'll see where the chips fall on Saturday.
And then in volleyball, they suffered yet another winless weekend this past weekend.
Yeah, another couple matches there on the road in Missouri, nationally ranked Central Missouri. We knew that was going to be a tough match, but Lindenwood was one of those opponents where you felt like, well, maybe we could finally break through, but unfortunately we did not. So the good thing, the positive side, like after talking to Coach last week on the show, is we're back at home finally, and we'll be here at home for a little while. So that'll be nice that they come back this week, and they're going to face Southwest Baptist and Missouri Southern, who are 2 of the teams down there towards the bottom of the conference standings with us. So you feel like, hey, you're on your home floor. This is a good chance to finally maybe get those first MIAA wins of the season, and hopefully the ladies will be ready to go this weekend and have some motivation. I know with that rough start to conference play, it's hard to kind of keep your level of enthusiasm up, but now that you're back at home, maybe you can start making good things happen and get a little run going here towards the end of the season. So.
And then men's soccer collected their 6th consecutive victory. On Sunday, they beat Lindenwood 2-1.
Yeah, another great week for the men's soccer program. A couple home matches here in Hayes. Defeated Upper Iowa back on Thursday. Sorry, they beat Upper Iowa on Thursday and then beat Lindenwood on Sunday. And so we were 4-0 in conference play after playing everybody once, and now we got to go back through the rotation again. But this week, they have a chance to clinch the MIAA title already. If they can defeat Southwest Baptist on Friday, and then if they do that, they'll set up a chance to maybe win the MIAA title on Sunday, because since Northeastern State has already suffered a tie in conference play against Lindenwood, if we win both those matches, we get to the 6-win mark, nobody can come touch us from there on out, no matter what happens in our 2 conference games beyond that. So good opportunity for the men this week to maybe get their 2nd straight MIAA title.
And then women's soccer, they left Northwest Missouri State scoreless on Sunday with a 3-0 win.
Yeah, good win for them there, and also to beat Missouri Western earlier in the week. Now they're on a 3-match win streak. Looks like they got some things clicking, got their overall record back to 500 now at 5-5-2. And now we're 3-2 in the MIAA. So we've jumped up into a 4th place tie in the conference standings. So those are big results for them this week, or this last week. And then, going forward this week, they're going to go on the road and they get to see the defending national champion Central Missouri from last year. Now Central's not quite as highly ranked as they were last year. They've actually taken a couple of blemishes on their record already, so they're probably not quite as strong. Quite honestly, the Central Oklahoma team we saw a couple of weeks ago is probably the team that's going to threaten to maybe win that national title this year, just by what I've seen so far in front of my eyes. And they're still undefeated at 12-0. But Central Missouri is going to be a tough test. They always are on the road, and then we go to Lindenwood after that, which is the furthest road trip in the conference. So hopefully our ladies can continue that success this week. I know it's going to be tough, but hopefully they can come out of this weekend with a win potentially. So.
And then lastly, cross country will be at home in their upcoming races.
Yeah, big meet this week, the home meet, the FHSU Tiger Open. I know we had one earlier in the year that's a little bit smaller meet. We have our alumni come back for that one and don't have as much competition, but the Tiger Open has become a premier cross-country race here in the Midwest in October. We've seen a lot of the elite teams of Division II that, or at least in this area of the country, come in here and want to run in Hayes. And Jason McCullough and the owner of that course, the person that owns the land over there, have done a tremendous job at keeping that course in great condition, and just all the nice little aesthetic things they've done for it there. And I think the coaches really appreciate everything that Jason does to run that event, and we see a lot of teams come in year by year. So there's actually 4 races that go on during the day over there. They have, I guess what you would kind of say, there's an elite division, and then there's another division that I don't really want to call it the JV division, but there are some schools that opt to run in the, I guess, lesser division, and then there's the ones that'll take part of the premier races later on in the morning. So the first races start at 9 a.m. I believe the women's black division race starts then, and then the men's black division will be afterwards. But then the elite teams, which I believe will be entered into that competition as well, those races start at 10:25 in the morning. So there's going to be a whole horde of schools from all over the Midwest here, junior colleges, NAIA schools, Division II, some of the nationally ranked teams. So it's a fun event to go watch, and if everybody has a chance to get out to Sand Plum Nature Trail over there by Victoria on Saturday morning, it's an awesome event to watch. So.
Thanks for joining me, Ryan.
No problem.
That concludes this episode. Tune in next week for another episode of This Week in Tiger Athletics. To stay up to date on the latest news and information throughout the week, visit tigermedianet.com.